Hello everyone, and welcome back to the PowerHab English channel. Have you ever felt stuck as if invisible barriers inside your own mind are holding you back from moving forward? No matter how hard you push yourself to take the next step, it can feel like your mind creates walls made of fear, doubt, and constant distractions that pull your focus away from what truly matters. This experience is more common than you might think. Your mind can either be your greatest ally, helping you grow and succeed, or your harshest enemy, trapping you in a cycle of hesitation and limitation. Yet many people live their entire lives without fully realizing just how powerful their thoughts really are and how much influence they hold over their emotions, decisions, and future. Most people don't recognize how deeply their thinking patterns shape their feelings, influence the choices they make every day, and ultimately determine the life they build for themselves. But here's the encouraging truth: your mind is not fixed or confined to one way of thinking, and you are not a prisoner to your current thoughts or mental habits. You absolutely have the ability to learn how to take control of your mind and steer it in the direction you want. And when you do, that's the moment when everything in your life begins to shift in remarkable and positive ways. Controlling your mind doesn't mean ignoring your feelings or pretending everything is perfect when clearly it isn't. It means developing a clear, honest understanding of how your thoughts function and discovering practical ways to manage them in a healthy, powerful, and uplifting manner. When you learn to guide your thoughts instead of being controlled by them, you gain mastery over your emotions, your habits, and your actions. This kind of mastery brings you clarity of purpose, inner peace, confidence, and the focused energy required to create a better, more meaningful life. Whether your goal is to overcome fears that limit, you manage stress more effectively, or maintain consistent focus on what truly matters most to you. Mastering your mind is always the first and most essential step on that journey. In this video, you will discover simple yet deeply effective tools designed to help you take charge of your thoughts. We will explore why so many of us get stuck inside our own minds, caught in endless loops of worry, doubt, and confusion, and more importantly, how to break free from this exhausting cycle. You'll learn practical strategies to stop overthinking, sharpen your focus, and build a mindset that is stronger, calmer, and more peaceful every single day. By the end of this video, you'll have clear, actionable techniques that you can start using immediately to strengthen your mental resilience and live a life that feels more focused, peaceful, and genuinely fulfilling. So let's embark on this transformative journey together. Let's commit to mastering your mind, because the moment you take control of your mind, you take control of your life. Why is mastering your mind so crucial? The answer lies in a simple yet deeply powerful truth. Your mind is the engine that drives every single moment of your life. It is the source from which all your experiences, emotions, and actions flow. Understanding this fundamental fact is the key to unlocking your ability to shape your life intentionally and move it in the direction you truly desire. Building on this powerful idea that your mind is the driving force behind everything you do, it's important to fully realize just how profoundly your thoughts influence every aspect of your life. Every decision you make, every feeling that arises within you, and every action you take, all of these begin with a single thought. Whether you are consciously aware of these thoughts or they operate beneath your awareness, they are constantly shaping your reality. Your thoughts influence how you perceive the world around you, how you value yourself, and how you respond to the many challenges and opportunities life presents. If your mind is filled with fear, self-doubt, or negative beliefs, it's no surprise that your emotions and behaviors will reflect this inner turmoil. You may find yourself overwhelmed by anxiety, lacking motivation, or slipping into a deep sense of hopelessness and frustration. On the other hand, if your thoughts are rooted in courage, clarity, and positive belief, You'll notice a growing sense of inner strength, confidence, and control over your own life. This is why the timeless saying, "Your thoughts create your reality," holds such immense truth. What happens inside your mind has a direct and powerful effect on what unfolds outside in your daily experiences. To help illustrate this concept more clearly, let's look at a simple example. Imagine you are about to speak English for the very first time in front of an audience. Even before you utter a single word, your mind might already be flooded with worries and fears. What if I forget what to say? Or what if people laugh at me? These fearful and repetitive thoughts stir up a wave of nervousness inside you. You might begin to notice physical symptoms of this anxiety, your hands trembling slightly, your heart racing faster than normal, and your voice becoming shaky or weak. Because of these anxious thoughts, your behavior changes. You might speak less than you intended to, or perhaps decide not to speak at all. Afterwards, you could feel disappointed or frustrated with yourself, thinking, "I'm just not good at English." But here's a powerful truth. The problem wasn't your ability or your knowledge. The real barrier was the negative thoughts and fears swirling inside your mind that held you back before you even started. Now imagine if instead you had told yourself, "It's okay to make mistakes," or "Every time I try, I'm learning and getting better." Your actions would have been completely different. You would have spoken with more courage and confidence, and with each attempt, your self-belief would have grown stronger and stronger. This simple example clearly illustrates just how incredibly powerful your thoughts truly are. When your mind becomes overwhelmed with stress, anxiety, and endless cycles of overthinking, focusing on what truly matters becomes nearly impossible. A mind that is constantly preoccupied with worry, doubt, and negative self-talk is not only unproductive, but also deeply exhausting. You might feel as if you are working hard every day, putting in effort and time, yet somehow the meaningful progress you desire always seems just out of reach. Why does this happen? The answer is that much of your precious mental and emotional energy is wasted battling your own thoughts, instead of being directed toward focused and purposeful action that leads to real growth. This is exactly why learning to take control of your thoughts is absolutely essential. When you take charge of your mind, you stop allowing fear, doubt, and negativity to dictate the course of your life and your actions. Once you begin to master your thoughts, you begin to cultivate a mindset that supports growth, enables clear problem-solving, and keeps your attention fixed on your true priorities. This step is critical because, as the old saying goes, if you control your mind, you control your results. Mastering your mind is without question the first and most fundamental step toward mastering your future and building the life you want. However, this journey is far from easy. There are many common mental traps, automatic hidden thinking habits that silently rob you of your control and freedom without you even noticing. Often the biggest enemy we face isn't an external obstacle or challenge. It's the relentless, sometimes harsh voice inside our own heads. These mental traps shape how we think, influence how we feel, and ultimately dictate how we act. If we don't become aware of these traps and learn to overcome them, they can keep us stuck in destructive cycles of fear, confusion, and unhappiness. Let's take a closer look at some of the most widespread mental traps that many people unknowingly fall into. The first and perhaps most exhausting of these traps is overthinking. Overthinking occurs when your mind gets stuck cycling through the same worries, doubts, or unanswered questions repeatedly without ever reaching a clear conclusion or solution. It often starts with a small concern or problem, but before long your mind creates a tornado of what-if scenarios that quickly become overwhelming and paralyzing. For instance, imagine you have a simple task like giving a short speech in your English class. Instead of approaching this task with calmness and confidence, your mind floods with repetitive, fearful thoughts, such as, "What if I forget what to say?" Or what if everyone laughs at me? These recurring and fearful thoughts don't help you prepare or perform. Rather, they amplify your anxiety and stress levels, making the situation feel far more daunting than it actually is. When caught in this relentless cycle of overthinking, your mind becomes busy but ineffective. It drains your energy reserves and robs you of your inner peace and focus. More importantly, it traps you in fear and doubt, making it incredibly difficult, or even impossible, to take any meaningful or productive action toward your goals. Imagine sitting in a rocking chair. You keep moving back and forth energetically, but you never actually move forward or reach your destination. That's exactly what overthinking does to your personal progress and growth. Another incredibly powerful and damaging mental trap is negative self-talk. This inner critic, the voice inside your head, that constantly whispers and sometimes even shouts things like, "I'm not good enough," "I'll never be able to learn this," or "I always mess things up," can seem insignificant at first, but over time, these thoughts slowly and insidiously erode your self-esteem and motivation. They create invisible barriers that block your path to success, making progress feel impossible. Imagine yourself practicing English. Each time you stumble over a word or struggle to express your thoughts clearly, your mind immediately jumps to discouraging conclusions. "I'll never sound like a native speaker," or "I'm just not cut out for this." How can you expect to improve or grow if your own internal dialogue keeps telling you that success is out of reach? Negative self-talk isn't merely a source of discouragement. It's a silent thief that steals your confidence and potential. It constructs invisible walls around your mind, preventing any real progress before you even begin. One single negative thought can rapidly drain your motivation and leave you feeling weak, powerless, and defeated. You might stop practicing or hesitate to put in your full effort because deep down, you've already accepted failure as inevitable. The heartbreaking truth is that most of these negative thoughts aren't rooted in reality. They are born from fear, past mistakes, or harsh words that others have said to you. When you repeatedly speak to yourself in a negative way, your self-esteem plummets, and you start believing lies about your own worth and abilities. But here's something absolutely crucial to remember: the way you talk to yourself truly matters. You can never build a strong, successful, and fulfilling life if your inner voice remains weak, critical, or discouraging. The third common and equally damaging mental trap is the tendency to compare yourself to others. In today's digital age, this habit is more widespread and more harmful than ever before. Social media offers constant glimpses into other people's lives, their achievements, skills, appearances, and moments of success. It's easy to look at these filtered highlights and feel small, inadequate, or as if you're falling behind. You might find yourself thinking, "They're so good at English, and I'm nowhere near their level," or "They seem to have everything figured out while I'm completely lost." This kind of comparison is a thief of your happiness and confidence. It distracts you from focusing on your own unique journey and growth. When you spend too much time watching someone else's path, you lose sight of your own direction and potential. The truth is, everyone grows and evolves at their own pace. No one online shares the full story, the struggles, failures, and setbacks that lie behind their success. Comparing your beginning to someone else's middle or peak is simply unfair and counterproductive. To build true confidence and fulfillment, you must learn to celebrate your own progress, no matter how small it may seem. Stay focused on your unique path and be committed to your own growth and goals rather than measuring yourself against the accomplishments of others. Another significant and often overlooked trap that quietly but effectively steals your control over your mind is living either in the past or obsessing about the future. Your mind possesses an incredible, almost magical ability to travel through time. It can vividly replay old memories, moments of joy or pain, or imagine countless future scenarios. While this capacity can sometimes be helpful for learning and planning for many people, it becomes a major source of stress, anxiety, and mental exhaustion. Living in the past means repeatedly dwelling on mistakes, regrets, painful experiences, or moments you wish had gone differently. You may find yourself trapped in recurring thoughts like, "I failed before, so I'm probably going to fail again," or "Why did I mess up that opportunity?" These thoughts pull you deeper into sadness, frustration, and self-judgment, making it difficult to move forward with confidence. On the other hand, living in the future means spending an excessive amount of time worrying about things that haven't even happened yet. You might be consumed by endless what-if questions such as, "What if I can't find a job next year?" or "What if everything goes wrong?" These worries create fear, uncertainty, and tension that rob you of peace and presence. When your mind is trapped in another time, whether it's stuck in the past or anxiously anticipating the future, you miss out on the present moment, the only time when real life actually happens. The joy, opportunities, and real power to make change exist only in this very moment, right here and now. Learning to control your mind means training yourself to bring your attention back to the present moment, because this moment is where your true power lies. Many of the most successful and fulfilled people have discovered that letting go of regrets about the past and fears about the future is essential for personal growth, happiness, and peace of mind. Finally, one of the most common yet most dangerous mental traps is the fear of failure. This fear often keeps people stuck inside their comfort zones, hesitant or afraid to try new things or take bold, meaningful steps forward in their lives. You might have a dream to start a new project, learn a new language, apply for a job, or share your unique ideas with the world, but the fear of not succeeding holds you back from even beginning. You may catch yourself thinking, "What if I fail?" And before long, that fear grows so large that it completely overshadows your original dream or goal. But here's a powerful truth to remember. Failure is not the end of the road. It's an essential, unavoidable part of every successful journey. Every person who has achieved great things has faced failure, learned valuable lessons from it, and grown stronger and wiser because of those experiences. Real failure isn't falling down or making mistakes. It's never trying at all. Allowing the fear of failure to control your mind means missing out on valuable personal growth, new experiences, and the opportunity to achieve true and lasting success. But when you begin to accept failure as a wise and necessary teacher, rather than a cruel enemy, you reclaim your power and freedom. All the mental traps we've discussed so far, overthinking, negative self-talk, comparing yourself to others living in the past or future, and fear of failure, they quietly drain your mental energy and steal your sense of control. They make your mind noisy, weak, confused, and filled with doubt. The very first and most critical step toward freedom is awareness. When you recognize these traps for what they really are, automatic habits of thought that serve no one, you can begin to break free from their invisible hold. In the next part of this video, we will explore clear and practical techniques designed to help you do exactly that. You'll learn how to take back control of your mind and build a mental state that is stronger, clearer, more focused, and more peaceful. Practical techniques to control your mind. Now that you fully understand how your mind can be either your greatest ally or your toughest obstacle, the natural and vital next question is, how exactly do you take control of it? The good news is you don't need to become a monk, a meditation master, or spend years learning complex techniques to gain mastery over your mind. What you truly need are simple, practical tools that you can integrate into your daily routine. Think of these techniques as workouts for your mind, much like going to the gym regularly strengthens your body and builds physical endurance and resilience. The more consistently you practice these mental exercises, the stronger, clearer, and more resilient your mind becomes. Over time, you'll find that challenges and stresses, which once felt overwhelming, start to become manageable, and your overall sense of peace and focus improves significantly. Here's an essential truth to keep in mind: you don't have to control every event, circumstance, or situation in your life. What really matters, and what you can absolutely control, is how you respond to these events. And that response always begins within your mind. The first powerful technique I want to share is called Watch Your Thoughts. This practice involves becoming fully aware of the thoughts flowing through your mind without judging them, resisting them, or trying to suppress or push them away. Instead, you become a calm and curious observer of your own thinking process. Most people go through their days on autopilot, producing thousands of thoughts daily without ever truly noticing or reflecting on them. But here's a crucial insight: you cannot change what you don't observe or acknowledge. Watching your thoughts is like standing at the doorway of your mind, quietly observing who enters and who leaves. You don't need to engage, argue, or react to any particular thought. Simply acknowledge its presence with gentle curiosity and acceptance. For example, imagine you're embarking on a new challenge, perhaps learning a new language or tackling a difficult project, and suddenly the thought, "I can't do this," arises in your mind. Instead of immediately believing it or reacting emotionally, pause for a moment and simply notice that thought without judgment or resistance. When a thought such as "I can't do it" surfaces, try this simple yet powerful response. Say quietly to yourself, "Oh, interesting. My mind just said, I can't do this." You don't need to fight or push the thought away. Merely becoming aware of it in a calm and non-reactive way already gives you more control over your mind and emotions. As you continue to practice this mindful awareness regularly, you'll begin to catch negative or unhelpful thoughts earlier before they dominate your emotions and behaviors. This awareness gives you the ability to choose better, more positive thoughts that align with your growth, well-being, and success. The second powerful technique I want to share is called naming the emotion. Often we find ourselves feeling overwhelmed by emotions such as anxiety, frustration, sadness, or confusion, yet we don't fully understand why we are experiencing these feelings. These emotions can quickly take over our bodies and minds, causing us to react impulsively, sometimes even in ways that we later regret. However, one of the most effective ways to regain control is by pausing for a moment and consciously identifying exactly what emotion you are feeling. By putting a clear name to your feelings, you bring the emotion out of the shadows and into the light, which makes it easier to understand and manage. For example, you might notice a tightness in your chest, a fluttering sensation in your stomach, or tension across your shoulders. When this happens, quietly, tell yourself, "I'm feeling anxious," or "I'm feeling frustrated." This act of naming the emotion significantly reduces its intensity and power over you. It helps your brain transition from an automatic, unconscious reaction to a conscious and deliberate understanding of your emotional state. Imagine turning on a light in a dark room. You suddenly see the space around you, clearly, making it easier to navigate. Similarly, naming your emotions illuminates what is really happening inside you and gives you a clearer perspective. Next time you find yourself feeling overwhelmed, take a moment to pause and ask yourself softly, "What am I truly feeling right now?" This simple yet profound question creates much-needed mental space, allowing you to breathe deeply, calm your nervous system, and respond thoughtfully and intentionally rather than reacting on impulse. The third essential tool I want to introduce is practicing focus. In today's fast-paced, noisy world, our attention is constantly pulled in 100 different directions. This scattered focus leads to stress and inefficiency. Practicing focus means gently training your mind to remain present, grounded, and attentive to the here and now. One of the most accessible ways to develop this skill is through mindful breathing. Find a quiet place to sit comfortably. Breathe deeply in through your nose, filling your lungs completely. Then slowly exhale through your mouth. As you breathe, bring your full attention to the sensation of the air entering and leaving your body, or to the soft sound your breath makes. It's natural for your mind to wander during this practice. When that happens, gently guide your focus back to your breath, without judgment or frustration. Another effective technique is to focus your attention on a small object, like a flickering candle flame, a blooming flower, or even a simple stone for 1 or 2 minutes. These small acts of mindfulness help train your brain to become still calm and fully present. For example, before an important event, whether preparing for an exam, delivering a presentation, or speaking English in front of others, take 2 to 3 minutes to practice mindful breathing and focus. You will likely notice your thoughts settling, your anxiety reducing, and a sense of calm confidence replacing nervousness. This simple preparation can make a powerful difference in your performance and mental state. Finally, there's a crucial technique called challenging negative thoughts. Just because a thought appears in your mind doesn't mean it is true. Our minds are wired to protect us sometimes by telling exaggerated or false stories that create unnecessary fear and self-doubt. Challenging your negative thoughts means questioning them with curiosity and fairness. Ask yourself questions like, is this really true? Or, is there another more balanced way to view this situation? For instance, if you catch yourself thinking, I'm terrible at English, stop and critically examine this belief. Ask, am I really terrible? Or am I simply at an early stage of learning, making progress every day? Then remind yourself of your achievements and improvements, such as I have improved significantly since I started, and I'm continuing to learn. This shift weakens the false narrative your mind may be spinning and strengthens your self-confidence and motivation. It's important to note that the goal here isn't to force yourself into unrealistic positivity or to ignore challenges. Instead, it's about being honest, kind, and fair with yourself, recognizing both your strengths and your areas for growth with compassion and clarity. Finally, one of the most important steps in mastering your mind is to create a habit of feeding it with what it truly needs to grow, often referred to as your daily mental diet. Just as your body is shaped by what you eat, your mind is shaped by what you consume mentally. If you spend your day absorbing negative news, harsh criticisms, angry voices, or mindless distracting content, your thoughts will inevitably mirror that clutter and chaos. This constant mental noise fills your head with stress, confusion, and anxiety. However, if you begin each day by reading something calm, wise, inspiring, or motivational, or by listening to a podcast, audiobook, or music that uplifts and encourages you, your mind will gradually become stronger, clearer, and more peaceful. For example, dedicating just a few minutes each morning to listening to a short story or positive message in English not only improves your language skills, but also sets a positive tone for the entire day. It primes your mind to focus on growth, opportunity, and possibility. Try to choose just one small, high-quality piece of content every morning. Even 5 minutes is enough to build a powerful, positive mental habit that will compound over time. When you regularly practice the simple but effective techniques we've discussed, watching your thoughts, naming your emotions, practicing mindful focus, challenging negative beliefs, and maintaining a healthy mental diet, you take concrete and meaningful steps toward mastering your mind. Remember, you don't have to be perfect or expect immediate transformation. The key is simply to start. One thought at a time, one breath at a time, you'll begin to notice a powerful and positive shift inside. And when your mind becomes clearer, stronger, and more resilient, you'll see that everything in your life begins to improve. Think of your mind like a muscle. The more you train it, the stronger and more durable it becomes. Just like physical strength doesn't develop overnight, or after a single workout, mental strength requires patience, time, and consistent effort. You cannot expect to visit the gym once and stay fit forever. Similarly, you cannot expect your mind to remain calm, focused, and powerful if you only care for it occasionally or inconsistently. It's the small, intentional daily actions that create lasting change and transformation. Once you truly grasp this truth, you'll start seeing your daily habits not as insignificant tasks or chores, but as powerful tools that shape your future, your mindset, and ultimately, your life. One of the most effective and accessible daily habits you can develop is meditation. It doesn't have to be long or complicated. Just sitting quietly for 5 minutes, closing your eyes and focusing gently on your breath, can bring you profound peace and clarity. Meditation allows you to pause the noise and distraction of the outside world and turn your attention inward to what's happening inside your mind. Over time, you'll notice you become less reactive to stress, more focused, and more present in each moment. At first, your mind may wander frequently, and that's perfectly normal. Gently guiding your attention back to your breath each time it wanders is part of the mental training. Each return builds your mental strength just as repeatedly lifting small weights builds physical muscle. Another powerful and enlightening practice is journaling. Taking a few minutes each day to write down your thoughts, emotions, experiences, or goals might seem simple, but it's one of the best ways to gain clarity and clear mental clutter. When your thoughts are expressed on paper, they lose some of their emotional weight. This helps you to see patterns, understand what's troubling you, and even uncover solutions more easily. For example, if you're feeling anxious or worried about your progress in learning English, writing those feelings down can help you understand your fears better and remind yourself of the progress you've already made. Journaling is like wiping the dust off a mirror. Suddenly, you can see yourself more clearly, without the blur of stress, doubt, or overwhelm clouding your view. Another simple but incredibly powerful habit to develop is practicing gratitude. Gratitude is one of the easiest and most beautiful ways to completely transform your mindset and overall outlook on life. Every day, take a few moments to reflect on 3 things you're genuinely grateful for. These don't need to be big or life-changing events. They can be small moments like savoring your morning coffee, receiving a kind message from a friend, or appreciating that you are learning something new today. This simple practice rewires your brain to focus on the positive aspects of your life and cultivates feelings of contentment, happiness, and abundance. Gratitude is one of the most powerful tools you can use to shift your focus away from what's missing, broken, or going wrong in your life, and instead train your mind to notice and appreciate what's already good, working well, and worthy of your attention. When you make a habit of seeing and valuing the positive aspects of your life, your energy and mindset naturally begin to shift. You start to feel more hopeful, more grounded in the present moment, and more open to the opportunities and blessings around you. Over time, gratitude moves beyond a deliberate practice and becomes an effortless, natural way of experiencing the world. Alongside gratitude, another highly beneficial daily habit is reflection. At the end of each day, take a few moments of quiet to ask yourself simple yet meaningful questions like, "What did I learn today?" or "What could I do differently or better tomorrow?" This practice cultivates a mindset of growth through self-awareness and intentional improvement, helping you avoid falling into the trap of repeating the same unproductive habits without gaining insight or making progress. Even on challenging or difficult days, Reflection can be your greatest ally, helping you transform obstacles and setbacks into valuable lessons. For example, if you notice that during a study session you were easily distracted, reflecting on that moment can help you identify the cause. Perhaps your phone was within reach, and encourage you to create better conditions for focus next time. These small, thoughtful insights accumulate like planting seeds that will grow into your future successes. Training your mind does not require dramatic life changes or long hours of intense practice. What matters most is consistency and intention. Spending just 5 focused minutes each day practicing these mental habits is far more effective than a single hour of practice once a week. True mental strength is built not through sporadic effort, but through steady daily commitment, especially on days when motivation feels low and it's easiest to give up. These moments of persistence shape resilience and cultivate lasting change. As you continue building these daily habits, you'll begin to notice a beautiful transformation unfolding within you. Your mind will respond differently to life's challenges. You'll find yourself feeling calmer and more composed during stressful moments, more hopeful and optimistic when facing uncertainty, and more able to focus your attention on what truly matters to you. Just as your muscles grow stronger and more flexible with each workout at the gym, your mind grows stronger, clearer, and more resilient with every positive habit you nurture and develop. So keep training, keep practicing, and trust in the process. Every small intentional step you take today, no matter how tiny, quietly builds a stronger, brighter, and more empowered tomorrow. Let's pause for a moment and deeply reflect on everything we've covered in this video here on PowerHab English. Your mind is an incredibly powerful force, but it doesn't have to control you. Throughout this journey, you've seen how common mental habits, such as overthinking, negative self-talk, and fear, can quietly steal your peace, confidence, and sense of clarity. Yet more importantly, you've learned simple, practical techniques that empower you to take your power back and regain full control over your thoughts and emotions. Practices like watching your thoughts, carefully naming your emotions clearly, honing your focus, and feeding your mind with positive, uplifting habits are not just abstract ideas. They are real, actionable tools. When you apply these techniques consistently, they reshape your thinking patterns, transform your feelings, and positively influence your actions, helping you to create a richer, more fulfilling life. Here on PowerHab English, we believe that your mind is much like a muscle. It can be trained, strengthened, and developed. With each small intentional effort, you become mentally stronger, wiser, and more in control of your future and the life you want to build. Remember this powerful truth. You are not your thoughts. You are not the doubts, fears, or limiting voices inside your head telling you, "You can't do this." You are the master of your mind. You are the conscious observer, the one who holds the power to steer your life in a positive direction. When you take control of your thoughts, your entire life begins to transform one deliberate choice, one new habit, one mindful moment at a time. Yes, the journey may sometimes feel slow and challenging. Yes, there will be moments when it seems difficult to keep going, and you might stumble or fall. But every great transformation starts with a single step, and that first step always begins in your mind. So here's your challenge from all of us at PowerHab English. Start today by choosing just one habit to build or one technique to practice. You don't need to do everything all at once. Maybe it's spending 2 minutes focusing on your breath to calm your mind, journaling your thoughts to clear mental clutter, or catching yourself when you begin comparing your journey to someone else's. Whatever habit you choose, commit to practicing it today, and then, again, tomorrow. Transformation doesn't happen overnight, but it will come steadily and surely, building momentum and strength with each small positive step you take. Now, we want to hear from you. What's one thought or habit you want to take control of? Starting today, please share your answer in the comments below. Your story could inspire others on their own journeys. By sharing, you take the very first step toward owning your mind and actively shaping your future. Always remember your thoughts are powerful, but you are even more powerful. With awareness, consistent practice, and patient persistence, you can develop a mind that supports your growth, fulfills your dreams, and nurtures your inner peace. So, take control. Take charge. Start becoming the person you were truly meant to be. And remember, PowerHab English is here to guide and support you every step of the way.